I'll tell you what it was at the start and what it is now, because it's definitely changed.
Yeah.
At the start, there's a positive why and there's a negative why as well, and I think it's strong when you have both.
Yeah.
The positive why was the enjoyment of making the content, the enjoyment of discussing these topics that I was passionate about. I also enjoyed the skill of, this video was edited better. I presented myself better in this video. I'm getting better at this thing. The negative why was I didn't like the look of my career opportunities, and quite frankly, I didn't want to work a 9 to 5 the rest of my life.
Welcome back to the Scorpion Nest podcast. Today with me is a very special guest, James Lawley, owner and founder of Gent Z, entrepreneur and social media personality. James, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Thomas. Great.
So you and I got connected through a mutual colleague, one of my jewelry partners, Ren Thompson. He was episode 5, I believe, on the podcast. Tell me a quick story of how you and Ren connected.
Yeah, Ren and I connected through Instagram, actually, through social media. He'd seen me out and about, I think, and just gave me a message, and I was lucky enough to see it. And I thought, yeah, this guy actually seems kind of cool. So we went for a couple of cigars at Big's Mansion.
Lovely.
Got on like a house on fire. Then he was on, well, I did a video, and I just brought him in.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we did a quick interview, and then we did a full-length podcast. So yeah, we've been doing a little bit together. He also repaired my watch recently,
Very
and
nice.
this watch now tells the time for the first time in quite a long time.
And from what I understand, that's a generational watch for you?
Yeah, this is my great-grandfather's watch, which a few people in my family have worn, uncle, grandfather, and now me. So great to have
What
it
an
back.
honor to have that timepiece passed down and in good working condition now.
Well, it falls on me now to maintain it, because
Sure.
if I don't, nobody's ever going to wear this again. So it's my responsibility.
Something with great responsibility, Spider-Man.
Yeah, and it stops me from buying really expensive watches.
There you go. It means something, which is great.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, before we get too deep, for the audience that doesn't really know you or hasn't seen your content yet, can you give us a little synopsis of what you were doing before you became this social media personality, I would say?
Yeah. Wow. It's been just over 2 years. It was 2 years ago this week that I posted my first ever YouTube video. You know, honestly, at the time, I wouldn't say my life or career was very successful.
Mm-hmm.
I was a journalism graduate that got into journalism to be exploring passions, going down rabbit holes, having experiences and reporting them.
Yeah.
The realities of modern online clickbait journalism, the career that I ended up in just wasn't really fulfilling me. So I was actually at night school going to learn advertising. I wanted to be a copywriter or maybe a creative director one day.
Yeah.
So I was doing, my 9 to 5, going to advertising school at night. And then somewhere along the way, I just felt like I didn't have a passion project.
Mm-hmm.
I'd been a musician before. I didn't have that creative outlet anymore.
Yeah.
And I had this interest and this passion for men's style. There was some content creators at the time that were doing men's style.
Yeah.
There was people like Real Men, Real Style, Gentleman's Gazette. These people have now become mentors to me, which is really cool, and we've done videos together.
Fantastic.
But there was nobody my age
Right.
who was talking about more classic dressing,
Mm-hmm.
Tailoring, shirts, suits, that kind of stuff. So I just thought, yeah, why the hell not? Why not give it a go?
Yeah.
I had a lot of doubts about it, a lot of imposter syndrome, a lot of insecurities about that. But I just thought, why not commit to the process like you've done of just let's create and let's see where this goes. But I really did not have the expectations that I did for just how many people would resonate with the content that I made.
Absolutely. Especially in this day and age when I believe it started with the millennials and trickled down to the Gen Zs where financially we're more focused on experiences as opposed to expensive luxury goods and status and all that stuff. So for you to build a community around traditional ways and good-looking fashion, tailored suits, you've grown massively in 2 years.
It's been quick.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been very quick.
It's great to see there's an appetite out there for this.
Yeah, it was not my expectation. I would have said, first year, if I could get 10K subscribers, I would have been really happy with that.
Yeah.
I had 100K in 9 months.
That's insane.
But it just goes to show also that sometimes you think you're the only person who cares about what you're into, or, you have this niche, this passion. Actually, when you start sharing it with people, you realize, oh, there's a whole universe of people out there that feel the same way as me.
Absolutely.
And they're not just in my city, they're in all over America, they're in Europe, they're in Asia. It's your opportunity. You can just connect those people.
Yeah. So I hear a very distinct and thick Chicago accent, but do I detect a hint of something else?
Am I from the south side or north side? Yeah, so I was born in the US and didn't really live there growing up. I grew up in the UK.
Okay.
My parents are British. And then I was 22 when I decided to come back to the US.
Okay.
Yeah, and I have a dual citizenship. I lived in London from 18 to 22. And then just thought, you know what, I have this opportunity to live in the US. A lot of people would kill to live in the US, quite literally.
Yeah.
So why not go for it? Why not just take that chance? I went to LA. First, I was in LA for 2 years. Went to New York kind of briefly.
Yeah.
And then ended up in Chicago. I mean, if you're going to ask me like why Chicago,
yeah,
I don't have a good answer for that question really, and I especially don't have a good one in the winter. But really, I like big cities, and I've always lived in big cities. I'd been to LA, I'd been in New York, and I just thought, well, where next? I didn't have a very strong preconceived idea of what Chicago would be. So, as you can imagine, when you get off the L and you see Wacker Drive for the first time with the river and all those bridges and the incredible skyscrapers,
yeah,
I just thought, wow, this is a cool place.
You're absolutely right. I mean, as a resident of the city for many, many years now, I still have that same feeling, and I hope that the folks that choose to live here continue to have that same feeling as well, because I've been to LA, I've been to New York, and they all have their intricacies and their pros and cons, but there's just something about Chicago that fits the bill for a lot of folks, and there's a reason we've been rated as one of the top cities in America, both aesthetically and for nightlife, entertainment, food, just livability.
Yeah.
It's
people as well. That's one of my favorite things about it. I found the people to be incredibly friendly, and it's definitely been a good turning point in my life. I always believe that when you move somewhere new and you change your environment, typically good things will happen. Sometimes bad things happen.
Yeah.
That happened for me in New York. That wasn't a good move, really. But
do you have an instance that was like, this isn't for me?
Well, I feel like the whole just lifestyle of New York is, if you have to live there for your career, your profession, there are certain things that you just put up with in New York. Like, wow, I'm paying a lot of money for this apartment, but it's pretty dismal, right? Oh, there's rats everywhere. There's trash everywhere. It's noisy. It's smelly. But doing social media, doing content creation for a living, I didn't have that reason to live there. Like, it didn't make sense.
You could live anywhere.
Yeah, it didn't make sense anymore. So when I came to Chicago, I tell this story a few times, but going from my New York apartment to where I live in Chicago overlooking the river, it was like living in a Romanian jail cell and then being shown the Palace of Versailles. And then they say, oh, and this is half the price as well.
Oh my God.
So it was a pretty easy choice. Once I actually started looking at apartments, explored just not even the nightlife, just the vibe and the lifestyle of the city, especially around River North where I live, Gold Coast, West Loop. Those are my favorite areas of the city. I just felt really at home, and I had a really positive feeling about it.
Absolutely. I think the media portrays the city a certain way just because the geographic boundaries are so large for Chicago.
Yeah.
But what's happening downtown and in these neighborhoods is not exactly what I would say the mainstream media are projecting day to day. And that's why I invite people to come here and experience it for themselves, because what you experience is going to be ingrained in your brain a lot deeper than just a clickbait title on an article or a statistic. And I think a lot of people are pleasantly surprised when they experience it for the first time.
I think the city should give me an award for positive representation of Chicago, because every time I post a video where I show where I live or I show what I'm doing, everybody will comment, wow, I didn't realize Chicago was so nice, or, oh, why aren't you getting shot? Something like that. People are just blown away of the difference between the media perception and the reality. People also often think it's somewhere else.
Right.
Like they'll think it's Canary Wharf in London. They'll think it's Miami. I think it's because these other cities, they've modeled their architecture on Chicago, because Chicago is the, I hate this phrase, the OG of like beautiful skyscrapers and original architecture.
Yeah, I don't think we have the studio long enough tonight to talk about all of the great things of the city, but we certainly could. But you've grown to have such a influence in this city. Do you remember back when you kind of were inspired and realized that you did have a voice and you did have a topic that people wanted to listen to? A lot of us, kind of to your point earlier, have a passion or something we appreciate, but are afraid to put that out into the world because we don't think other people will like our content.
Yeah.
But obviously you have the stats to back up that you do have an audience. When was that first time that you knew you had a voice?
It doesn't come until you actually give it a go. Like nobody was going to come and give me an award for being a style expert or a confidence expert, certainly not a dating expert. It starts to come when, I don't know, whatever your milestone may be. For me, I remember jumping up and down the living room when I got 100 subscribers.
Yeah.
So that for me was like traction. When you start to get 1,000, that feels like, okay, now things are really happening. Probably the biggest click for me actually was when I did my first ever meetup in Chicago, and that was 6 months into my content journey. I didn't know if it was going to be 2 people or 50 people.
Yeah.
The reality was more like 20, but still, that was just amazing, because that showed that it wasn't just people watching videos on the internet as well. It's actually real life. Like people resonated with it so much that they want to leave their homes, they want to get dressed up, and they want to meet. It wasn't really about meeting me even, it's about meeting other people that feel the same way.
Yeah, building community is a strong topic here on the podcast, and it seems that everyone that's a guest has a form or a skill for building connection, which is why I love having the folks on. And you certainly have built an amazing community, not only in really the perfect time nowadays where men specifically need camaraderie, they need someone to look up to, they need guidance on a lot of things. For me and the folks that know me pretty well, they know, I was an officer in the Army for over 10 years. So I have that training of how to dress properly, how to present yourself well, how to represent your organization or others as you act out in the world. But a lot of men out there who either don't qualify or choose not to join the military are thirsty and in need of guidance when it comes to these topics. So I really love that you're helping so many young men traverse this era of kind of uncertainty.
There's no guidance for a lot of young men. And I love individualism and I love self-expression. But when there's no roadmap to follow, when there's no mentor, when there's no role model, then there's just an abyss.
Right.
And that abyss gets filled with a lot of negative things, as I'm sure you know. First off, I mean, how old are you?
Just turned 35.
No way. You look incredible for 35. When you said 10 years, I was like, wait a minute, I thought this guy was my age.
They've got really,
what's your secret?
really great cameras here at the Chicago Podcast Studio. Hair and makeup.
Whatever you're doing with your skin, I need to find out.
So I don't know how you've grown so quickly in 2 years. Do you have any tips on like topics that really resonated with your audience early on?
I think in the early stages of content, you have to accept that nobody knows who you are.
Yeah.
And nobody really cares who you are because they haven't attached to you in any way. So you do have to attach yourself to other things that you're interested in. On a broader sense, like style, dating were big ones. But then when I did videos, like I remember specifically did a video about James Bond casual style.
Yeah.
And I showed how to do those outfits on a budget. as well. That was probably a new way of presenting information that was, was already out there.
Right.
Or it's loads of people have watched those movies and gone, wow, I like the way he dresses there.
Yeah.
I just decided to take something from that and present it in a different way. The consistency is a huge one for growth. When people say they want to grow on social media and they're posting once a month, once every 2 weeks, it's like, if you wanted to get in shape and you go to the gym once a month, would you expect results?
Phenomenal reference. I mean, that's easy for a lot of people to understand. It's like, yeah, of course you need to go to the gym like every day.
Well, I feel like physical exercise is always a great metaphor for other things because it's so tangible.
Sure.
Yeah. And we understand that input equals output when it comes to the physics of the body.
Yeah. Same
thing with gaining audience's attention. Same thing with growing a business, monetizing. Consistency is a huge one. So, if you haven't even made a consistent amount of videos, like, don't get disheartened, don't get demotivated.
Mm-hmm.
You're in the early stages of grinding it out.
Yeah. There's a lot of parallels there, whether starting a business or getting in shape or launching your social media. I find that the biggest hurdle is that discipline to stay consistent.
Mm-hmm.
And unless you have a strong why, it's hard to stay on that track. So if you're, some people might have an illness which is driving them to get healthier. That's a very strong why.
Mm-hmm.
Wanting 6-pack abs just to see if you can get them, like, sure, that's maybe motivating for a little while, but it's hard to stay at it for a year, 2 years, really change your lifestyle. So what's your why for staying consistent when you're building these communities?
I'll tell you what it was at the start and what it is now, because it's definitely changed.
Yeah.
At the start, there's a positive why and there's a negative why as well. And I think it's strong when you have both.
Yeah.
The positive why was the enjoyment of making the content, the enjoyment of discussing these topics that I was passionate about. I also enjoyed the skill of, this video was edited better. I presented myself better in this video. I'm getting better at this thing. The negative why was I didn't like the look of my career opportunities. And quite frankly, I didn't want to work a 9-to-5 the rest of my life. I didn't want to be tied down in an office or a location. I just wanted more out of life, which I think a lot of people do.
Yeah,
right.
Absolutely.
A lot of people, especially you get to 23, 24, couple of years out of college, it really hits you. Oh, this is going to be the next 30,
is my life.
30 years. And I just thought, I don't know if I can swear on this, but definitely.
You're welcome to.
Fuck that was my thought. Fuck that. So I was running away from that. I'm running towards the ability to be, have a job that I was passionate about.
Yeah.
So now when it comes to community, the positive why is, well, I got to experience it for myself.
Sure.
Right. So by doing Gent Z, I got to organize events. Some of my best friends to this day, I met at that very first event.
I have a similar experience with starting the Scorpion Nest, and it all comes down to, like you said earlier, just doing it, diving in.
Yeah.
The amount of relationships that I built just by curating these events, some of the greatest friends I have now and the most loyal friends came from creating these events.
Yeah.
So I love to hear that you had similar experience.
It's so cool. But I get that not everybody is going to host events and do that. So I thought, for people that don't have that nature, they don't want to do that, how can I bring them together so that they can meet each other? So that's when I started doing, kind of expanding my community and making it more international. So now there are guys in the community that we have it's technically online.
Yeah.
We have guys going for dinner in Sydney. We have guys who met up last night for cigars in DC, and they're sending me the photos. So these things are all happening now without me even needing to be there.
Yeah.
And that's just so cool because, to be honest, I remember what it's like to not really have many friends and to not be around like-minded people, and not be around the kind of people you want to be. And it's just hard to get started with that. Like, what are you going to do? Sit at a bar by yourself and hope that you meet somebody cool?
Yeah.
If you can join something, or I personally, if I can facilitate people meeting like-minded people, then that's a pretty epic thing to be able to do.
I think that's why you and I connected so quickly, is that we're on the same page there. We get the joy of connection. out of pure want or need to just see people thrive.
Yeah.
You see the ripple effect of all of the hard work that you put into starting the first event. One event takes hours of scheduling, planning, reserving, curating, marketing, emailing, texting, calling. You do all of this work just to get 20 people in a room, but you can't even quantify the good that's came from that, the new relationships that came from that, business opportunities. I mean, it's 100 or 1,000x what you put into it.
Yeah.
And then you do that over the lifespan of your company, and just imagine how many people's lives you affected in a positive way.
Yeah.
From just putting in a little effort.
Yeah, it's incredible. And I know there are people that are still hanging out with each other in London because they met at my event. Same thing in New York. But it's also not feasible for me to. I probably could if I wanted to, but like I don't. I would get exhausted going to a different city every week, hosting an event. So it's nice that you can build a tent or build a community and kind of give people autonomy and ownership within that as well. And we have ties for our members. We have pins. I should be wearing one now, I suppose. But so people have those like insignia, and they have that belonging. But they get to do it independently as well, which is cool.
Yeah, those are great little touchstones that say, I belong to something.
Yeah.
I'm a part of a community. One of the biggest things I feel now is the need to belong.
Yes.
Post-COVID and with this wave of social media and TikTok and instant gratification.
Yeah.
A lot of people are out there, and there are a lot of lonely folks too. So they need some community to be a part of that's going to not only give them a reason to get out of the house, put something nice on, get presentable, but you also learn from each other. You also grow from each other, and there's just only positive things to these in-person communities. So what you're building is absolutely incredible.
I appreciate that. And I was one of them.
Yeah.
So it's not like I don't even have to imagine, oh, what if I was lonely? What if I felt like I didn't belong? That was only 3 years ago for me. So a lot of the things that I make are just for a younger version of myself.
Sure.
Yeah, I always come back to that. And the social media thing, it's like fire. You can burn yourself by getting, doom scrolling, by comparing yourself to others all of the time, or you can use it to cook.
Yeah.
You can use it to make something incredible.
Yeah, you can learn so much and enhance your life with social media, but it is a slippery slope.
You got to be disciplined with it as well.
Yeah.
I personally spend very little time like really scrolling or using social media in the traditional sense.
Sure.
Yeah.
So let's back up just a smidge.
Sure.
Let's talk about the name of your group. It's the Gentleman's Institution,
yeah,
correct?
That's correct, yeah.
And is that a umbrella company? Do you have different factions? Give me the lowdown on the Gentleman's Institution.
Absolutely. So if people want to join, they come on board via gent-z.com. And they will get added to an online platform they have where they can see where everybody is in the world. I do 2 group calls as well a week with everybody. There are courses they can go through. There are challenges that we do together. There's a forum where they can interact with each other. And then within that portal, they'll see the opportunities to meet up. Like, hey, these guys in DC are having the cigars. These guys are having dinner tonight. If you want to join them and you're nearby, just turn up. It's like a private network, really. Once you're inside the club, you've done the work, and it's like it's done for you.
Yeah.
There aren't that many things that you can just join and instantly you're accepted, and people want to connect with you.
Yeah.
Even if you join, one of the more old school private clubs in Chicago, you still got to do the work. Like, you still got to get there, and you've got to probably go a few times before you really meet somebody solid. Whereas this, it's just like plug in and play.
Yeah.
But by the time you've joined, you've probably been on like a bit of a journey with my content. So there's that trust there of, oh, I know this guy has some of the same values. I know this guy has a similar ethos. He's quite like-minded. So therefore, everybody's connections happen a lot quicker. It's probably the closest thing would be like joining, a private jewelers association where it's so niche that by the time you're in that club, you know that you guys are pretty solid.
Right.
It's kind of similar to that, but for people that aren't or maybe they are, but they need something else, for guys that just want to be around like-minded gentlemen, men focused on improving themselves, building better communities, being better men, fathers, husbands, brothers, whatever it is, then they're there. they're waiting to meet you.
So what I love about your story is that the content that you're making is essentially for a younger version of you, which means you're going to be very relatable to your current audience. That builds a lot of trust very quickly. A lot of men out there, I think, struggle with confidence. And you're a very confident guy, especially on camera. For those that aren't creators, they see creating videos as very intimidating.
It is, yeah.
As you and I both know, once you get into it and the more you do it, the more confidence you get, and it gets better and better. But do you remember a time maybe when you were a little less confident in your younger years, and like, how did you overcome that?
Well, definitely with being on camera, I felt just as cringe and as stupid and as awkward as everybody.
Yeah.
And I've left all my old videos up so that people can look at them.
Yeah.
And you will see I'm not very articulate in those videos. I'm not a very good presenter. In terms of real world confidence, I think it's a skill. I think it's a muscle as well.
Yeah.
Everybody has a different baseline of confidence. People also feel confident in some ways that other people don't feel confident in. Like, some people don't feel confident in large groups, right? That's a very common one, or
Sure.
your public speaking. But some people would also be very, very scared or intimidated to just be by themselves.
Interesting.
And they might feel more comfortable in a large group because, you know, when you're at the club and it's noisy and everybody's drunk, it's like, I'm just part of this mass.
Yeah.
If I'm by myself and it's just me, then I'm suddenly intimidated.
Right.
Some more introverted people might be able to do this really, really well, but go to a club and they just want to leave instantly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's interesting, the different environments that we interact with on the day-to-day as humans, and where you can be completely confident in one area and then be very intimidated or self-conscious in a different area. It's very dynamic, but I feel that really with any environment, the more you do something, you'll gain a little bit of confidence. You don't have to love it. You know what you enjoy and what your limits are. But again, the recurring theme is if you just do something a couple times, you get your feet wet, you'll get that confidence, and that'll only help you down the road in different scenarios.
Yeah, it's the same with dating and women. I have a lot of guys asking me for advice on that topic, and even personal friends. Like, I have a very close friend of mine that he's been out of the dating game for a long time.
Yeah.
And he's a Christian, so he actually is waiting till marriage, you know, in that sense.
Yeah.
So he's like, yeah, do I go on this date? Is there any point? And I said, look, you need some confidence in this area. So go and have that experience. So you just go for dinner. You know, it's fine. Like, but you need to gain those reps.
Absolutely.
You need to gain those reps. So for whatever you feel intimidated by, whether it's being in a large, noisy room, like, to bring it back to Chicago, if you walk into Gibson's bar at 8 o'clock on a Saturday night, that's quite an overwhelming environment.
Absolutely.
Even for me, that I would say I'm quite a confident person.
Yeah.
The first time I went in there by myself, I was like, okay, this is quite a lot.
Yeah.
But, you know, you got to get some balls and you go up and you order your drink and then maybe start talking to somebody.
Yeah.
You just get there. The worst thing you can do is go and leave, or probably even worse is just not doing it.
I agree with that.
Staying in your comfort zone.
Yeah. I tell people this during like job interviews and stuff, is that you can get all the way to the stage where they give you the offer and you can either accept or deny. But in order to get there, you need to do application, first interview, second interview, negotiations. You have a lot of steps between here and actually committing to that job. Same thing with dating. It's like, you're not proposing to this young lady on date one.
No.
Just go meet her, see if you have a connection, take things slow, and communication, really. That's a big topic nowadays too, is communication styles, especially with social media and texting and FaceTime. There's a lack of in-person communication, which I think is kind of driving a rift with young people in the dating scene.
Okay.
So I'm curious what your topic or your thoughts are on this topic on communication and dating.
I actually feel like generationally, Gen Z is quite good at communicating, especially in relationships. When I look at my parents' generation, I don't see good communication very often. I see a lot of, habits like silent treatment, fears to express what you want, I mean, if you look at the divorce rates and the infidelities, a lot of that is older couples that are now getting divorced. I feel like our generation is pretty good at least knowing what we want,
Right.
saying what we want. Yeah, people ghost,
Yeah.
you know, people lie. That's always happened. But I feel like when you're actually in a relationship, at least my experience has been, it's more okay to share your feelings. It's more okay to be honest. It's more okay to express what you want. And I also think this is partly due to social media. People are very educated on communication styles,
Yep.
love languages,
Emotional intelligence.
yeah, people actually know what they're talking about at a level that, like, in the 80s and 90s, especially men, they would not, you know, entertain the idea of what's your love language.
No.
That would have been pretty woo-woo.
Yeah.
Now it's very mainstream, like a very normal thing to talk about. So I'm kind of proud of our generation that we do have that level of at least intelligence and awareness.
Yeah.
It's also never been easier to, you know, avoid confrontation or communication, because if you were growing up and you'd been on a couple of dates with the girl in your town or from your church,
Yeah.
you can't ghost her,
Right.
because you're going to see her.
You're
so
right.
there was an accountability that came from that real world community
Yeah.
that we don't have now, right? And we've all done it. Like, you've all matched with somebody on a dating app and the conversation dries up or you lose interest. You don't say, by the way, I'm actually not that interested in you, or like, don't know what I was thinking when I was swiped right.
Right.
You just don't say anything. I think it happens on such a scale with a dating app that you could probably see them out and not even realize.
Yeah.
It's become quite anonymous.
It leaves a sour taste in a lot of folks' mouths, and I'm concerned that maybe, to your point, once you're in a relationship, it is easier to communicate. But I think getting into a relationship now is probably a little bit tougher, because it's just so hard to verbalize your opinions and get on the same page with somebody in this fast-paced world of, well, there's probably somebody better.
Yeah.
He might be a 9 out of 10, but I can find a 10 out of 10. So I'm not going to give him a shot.
Yeah. I'm guilty of that too.
Yeah.
I think, you know, just being honest, it's hard to know whether our generation is just having high standards and is being more intentional about our partners, or we have this paradox of choice where nothing's ever good enough and we're too fussy and we're comparing people to, you know, women on social media, or, I mean, women are doing it too.
Yeah. I think it's a combo of both, actually.
It's a combo of both.
Yeah.
It's a combo of both.
But this is a great segue into why in-person events are so important, is that we are so much different as human beings when you get in the same room as each other, as opposed to a picture on a profile.
Oh, especially dating apps, because that really is a skill that most men, especially, are bad at, right?
Yeah.
So the majority of men will come across a lot better in person than on a dating app. I think women are quite good at it, because women socially, they take photos of themselves. They're more used to expressing themselves in a digital
They're
format.
self-aware. They're so good at it.
Yeah.
It's like just knowing like how to pose, or the backdrop, or like what friends you're with, or what vibe you want to get off. I mean, we should connect with some women influencers and help give a masterclass to the men on how to just build a profile.
It definitely exists, and I've had some of those women on my podcast as well. And I've got male friends that I look at their profiles and I go, how the hell do you get any matches? You know, and they're good-looking guys in real life, and they've got their lives together. But yeah, the photos are terrible. The prompts are half-assed. The conversation openers are just dry. It's just terrible. But I find that personally, I'm more attracted to people in person as well. And there are plenty of people that I've dated for a while, or even been in relationships with, that had I seen just on paper or on a screen, I probably wouldn't have actually ever entertained.
Absolutely. I've had similar experiences, and very thankful that the in-person meetups have worked out, because you'll be surprised. So for you and your personal brands, what would you like your audience to feel when they meet you in person, as opposed to when they're just consuming your content online?
Yeah. One thing that I'm working on is being more just myself in my content, because I noticed that people would notice that I'm a bit more easygoing.
Yeah.
In real life, I'm more chill, I'm more relaxed, I'm more open, I'm more open-minded.
Yeah.
I think just because of some of the things that my content talks about, it's like etiquette, style.
Very
there
refined.
There are rules, yeah. And I'm not really, I don't have that much of a stick up my ass.
Yeah.
So I'd hope that that's one of the differences that people notice. But that's also part of the skill of making content that I'm still improving, is just being yourself on camera. And everybody's different. Like if I was a hot woman right now and we were on a date, you'd talk to me a bit differently.
Sure.
Subconsciously, it would just be a different version of you.
Yeah.
So trying to just bridge that gap is a big goal for me right now.
Yeah, and our last guest, Sabrina, we talked about this too, is how important authenticity is nowadays. And you definitely get that in-person meetings.
Yeah.
And you try and put that out on camera and your social media, but when you're looking at somebody through a screen, you can't really pick up 100% because it's a very limited window of time.
Yeah.
And you're consuming just like a specific topic. But when you get in person and you have a larger context of who James is, then you start making these connections and can kind of correlate different things, and you start putting together this broader image of this person as opposed to this Instagram reel.
I think that has changed over the last couple of years as well, is on social media, it's actually good to be more messy. It's good to be more relatable. That term is overused, but people actually don't need you to be a Kim Kardashian or Andrew Tate or whatever these seemingly perfect people are, or who are always flexing their lifestyles. I follow content creators who are really successful and their lives look like a complete mess. You know, like their kitchen is messy. They're talking about their kids puking all over them, or they're just talking about their real lives. But I think the big change has been with AI. Like if I was starting my channel now, I would do the things differently, because videos or topics like 5 best items to wear, 10 things a gentleman must do, ChatGPT can do that in an instant, and it will be pretty similar to what anybody could think of.
Right.
So when you actually tell your story, one thing that I think is really inspiring is when people go on a journey and they share that whole journey. Like Sam Sulek, I don't know if you follow his content, but
Not yet.
So he's a bodybuilder, and he's probably the biggest influencer in bodybuilding, and all he does is he does 45 to 60-minute videos every single day of him lifting, grocery shopping, eating, driving in his car, just talking.
Yeah.
It's so low effort in a sense, but people watch it because they're seeing this arc of this person's life.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you're going to go on some kind of transformation, like let's say you plan to lose weight, you're starting a business, you're finding love after divorce, if you can share that journey, that is so, so exciting.
I agree. Some of the most intriguing reels and accounts online now, I mean, one guy comes to mind. He was overweight, and his gimmick was, for every like I get on this post, I'm going to walk 1 mile. And it went viral instantly. And, you know, he committed to the bit, and he's gotten healthy for himself, but at the same time was able to build a social media presence, which then you can monetize, and you can help other people on their journey and all of the great benefits of building a channel. But he was being authentic. It's like, here I am in my weakest state, maybe most embarrassing state, and I'm putting myself out there for the world to see, which is, I mean, kudos to the people that are that, maybe not confident yet, but they're courageous to do that.
Yeah, it's incredibly brave. It's also, it can be tricky to know, like, when you're at that start of a journey. We all set goals here and there, or people decide new year, new me, whatever. But to actually have the thought to pick up the camera at that moment, there's a guy I follow that's kind of similar, where the start of every video is him really fat, really overweight, like crying in his living room, surrounded by McDonald's wrappers. And then it switches and he's shredded. Yeah. Like, damn, this guy was so clever to film his disaster of a life back then.
Yeah, that's the long game for sure.
Yeah.
There's a saying that I really enjoy. I believe it's change truly happens when the thought of staying the same is scarier than the work needed to change in and of itself.
Well, that's that negative pull, right, that we were talking about. That's the smell of I don't know if you've heard about that experiment where they did they put rats, or I think it was maybe hamsters. No, it was rats on a treadmill or on a wheel, and they waft the smell of cheese from the front, so that they start running quite a lot faster.
Yeah.
But when you add the smell of a cat from behind, then they really start running. So if you can have both, but I think every situation actually has a push and a pull.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. We might not necessarily know what the push and the pull is in the moment, but if you stick to doing the change and you go on that journey and then you look back, I find that you can usually realize, oh, that's why I decided to get healthier. That's why I made the career change.
I think it's very important to actually magnify those when you're on that journey. With anybody that I've helped or mentored in any way, whether it's social media, whether it's discipline, whether it's style, I like to go quite in depth about that, to the point where they have a very clear vision of what they're working toward and why that's important, but also what they're running away from. So like a common question I would ask would be, well, what happens if you don't do this? Like, what happens if you don't try?
Yeah.
And then they normally panic and go, oh, well, gosh, all this is going to happen, and my wife will leave me, and like nobody will love me, and my family bloodline is going to die out. And you go, all right, let's wake up tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock. Let's get after it. Yeah.
Yeah, you're in this realm of so many different values. You're doing coaching.
Yeah.
You're doing content. You're doing community. Is your group accessible to all men, or are there different tiers, or like how do we get more people involved with you?
It's all the same level. Yeah. So everybody can join for $1 for the first 7 days. So you can give it a try. You can find out if it works for you or not. You have to be 18, you have to have a credit card.
Yeah.
But after that, it's $149 a month. So I chose that price as well. It's not so small that you're going to set it and forget it. I don't want it to be a Planet Fitness where 90% of the members never go.
Yeah.
But it's also, if you want to make it work, if you care about having a network, if you care about improving yourself, it's feasible.
Yeah.
You can make it work. And, you turn up to the calls, you do the courses, you do the challenges, you connect with the other members in your city, and it starts to make sense.
I love that. So a big portion of your content and your community is style focused.
Yeah, that was definitely the foundation of it.
So when you're going out in the city, who are you dressing for? Are you dressing for yourself? Are you dressing for an occasion or to meet a specific person? Talk to me about the why behind your style.
It depends. Where am I going and whom I'm meeting? Fundamentally, it is for me.
Yeah.
Even if nobody was going to see me, I'd probably still dress in a fairly similar way.
Sure.
Just makes me feel good. It's a form of self-expression. At the same time, I'm aware of where I'm going to be and where I'm going to go.
Right.
Like today, it's quite warm outside, right?
Yeah.
It's 79, 80 degrees. I probably wouldn't wear a jacket if I weren't talking to you here and going to be on camera.
Right.
I also had lunch with a guy that was, well, I suppose he still is, a personal styling client of mine. It's not really a business that I do as much anymore, but we had lunch at Le Colonial, really nice restaurant. Again, wanted to dress up fairly well.
Right.
At the same time, I'm wearing jeans, I'm wearing cowboy boots. Like, that's not the typical Chicago style, but I like that.
Yeah.
So that's just for me. So it's a blend of both.
I think I guess this is my opinion, but I'm sure it'll resonate with other men, is that nobody really teaches you how to dress aside from your mom growing up or your dad if, he's around.
Yeah.
So for the folks that maybe didn't have a fashion forward person to give them tips.
I'm one of them as well.
It takes a while to really understand like the basics. I mean, you can make jeans and sneakers and a blazer look good if you layer it correctly, or you throw on a couple accent jewelry pieces and all of a sudden your outfit goes from a 5 to an 8. And it's not difficult. You just need to know how to do it.
Yeah. And what message are you sending as well? If I were trying to be a rap artist, this would be a terrible outfit. Right? At the same time, if a rapper was trying to get taken seriously as a consultant, you don't want to turn up wearing streetwear. So you do have to play the game a little bit of life. And a lot of the guys, when I was doing more of the personal styling, and especially at that time, my personal style was very suit and tie. It was very classic.
Yeah.
They didn't want to dress like that necessarily. They wanted to find their own style. And they picked bits that they enjoyed. Everybody is naturally drawn to certain things, right?
Right.
You go into a store, every single person will have some preference for something.
Mm-hmm.
So normally that reveals something that's intrinsic to you, and that's good.
Yeah.
But also, especially men, we normally need to be pushed out of our comfort zone a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, my upbringing, I did not have like a style role model in my family. My dad, one thing I will say about that though was he did have this sense of formality or respect.
Mm-hmm.
So, he played golf. So if I was going to go to the golf club with him, it would be, you got to wear a polo shirt. You got to tuck that shirt in.
Right.
At school, it was blazer, uniform, tuck your shirt in, do your tie up. I didn't like that at school.
Right.
Because I was like I have a problem being told what to do.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it in school. But when you enter the adult world, then you start to make your own choices. And it's really up to you to deal with the consequences. Like, you can go to a job interview dressed however you want.
Sure.
They'll let you in the building,
Yeah.
but whether you get the job or not, that may be a determining factor.
I think that's a lot of what men need to realize nowadays is how do you want to present yourself to the world?
Yeah.
And just being self-aware. That's right there. If you could just understand, like, maybe you've worn this shirt for the last 5 years because it's the one shirt that fits you well and you like the way it looks. But then if you take just a little bit of effort to think about, all right, well, how is the world seeing me in this 5-year-old shirt? And getting some opinions from outsiders, you can still look good and dress well by buying a new $40, $50 shirt, or just ironing it, or doing these little things that, again, outside of your comfort zone maybe, but they're easy little things that you can change to elevate your presence.
Yeah, it's not about money.
No.
I mean, don't get me wrong. If you have the money to do the Savile Row thing, to afford the really nice shoes, great. But I think a lot of men, they dress kind of defensively. So I'm wearing this black shirt because it makes me look slimmer than if I wore, a white one. I'm wearing this hoodie because I've had it for a long time. It's comfortable to me.
Yeah.
I feel like I can hide in these clothes. What I try and encourage men to do is actually move toward a process of presentation, of being intentional, putting some thought. As you said, how do I want to present myself to the world?
Yeah.
There's normally not going to be in an overly flashy sense.
Right.
Right? But you can put some thought into it. You can iron the shirt. You can maybe, I'm kind of against like this whole polyester thing.
Yeah.
Everything has to be stretchy, athleisure, technical fabrics, all of this kind of stuff. Not into that at all.
No.
So yeah, I have like polo shirts that are from H&M that look really nice. They cost me $30.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many layers to this, and a lot of it is inside your community. But before people want to present themselves well to the world, they need to understand and love themselves, I feel like. And once you get that confidence for yourself, then you have the mental capacity to think outside the box. Now, how do I dress for other people? How do I want to represent my company when I'm out on a business dinner or something? You get that once you're confident with yourself, then you're like, okay, now I can do more. But a lot of men that I've met, I feel lack that self-confidence to even want to try to look their best and portray to the public.
It's a bit of a chicken and the egg situation.
Yeah.
Do you feel confident and you feel self-love and therefore you buy nicer things? Or do you teach yourself confidence and self-love by making an effort? I definitely believe more in the latter.
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's like, how do you just get started from nowhere?
Right.
You do have to prove it to yourself. And there are many different ways to do this. Clothing is one of them. I wouldn't put clothing above physical fitness and
Right.
health, actually, because if a guy has a great body, and it's not me, but if a guy has an incredible physique and he's wearing a t-shirt, that's going to send a certain message that's way more powerful than the guy wearing the Brunello Cucinelli suit that he's got a big gut hanging over it and he looks weathered and tired. To me, that doesn't send many positive signals.
Right.
Yeah.
That's a fair point. So, challenge to the men out there: let's get back in the gym.
Yeah.
Let's get fit, and just get one good outfit in your closet that you can feel good in, and get that ball rolling. Because once you get those compliments, I mean, you know the adage of men hang on to the one compliment they got in grade school forever because they don't get compliments as frequently as women in today's society. So you throw the blazer on, maybe a fitted shirt, and you start getting those compliments out there, it's going to spark something in you.
Hey, women are like ready and willing to give the compliments out. And as I said, the bar is pretty low
right now.
well.
Yeah.
The bar is so low to the point where like I'll wear jeans and a jacket like this.
Yeah.
People will say, like, "Hey, nice suit." Like, wearing jeans. But, thank you, but it isn't as much of an effort as maybe it seems.
Right.
But you've also got to remember that when people look at you, they don't see a lot of the details that you know you've done.
Correct.
Right? They aren't looking at the pick stitching or the fact that you've got a button undone on your cuff. They're not like, oh, that's a nice, Rolex. They're like, I just see this overall image. It's kind of like a blur, like a memory is.
Yeah.
But it's up to you as the engineer to put together the parts that create that overall blurry image, and whether it's a positive one or a negative one.
Yeah. That's interesting. Do you have maybe like one style commandment you'd like to give the men of Chicago? Like what's an easy one that the young men can do that'll elevate them?
I could give so many flippant, stop wearing Crocs, stop wearing shirts that are 3 sizes too big for you, stop wearing Cubs jerseys everywhere. Sorry. Put some thought into it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's hard to say like, wear this.
Yeah.
And that's gonna work for you because it really depends.
Style is very personal.
Put some thought into it. I will say as well, you probably don't need that many clothes. You probably actually have too many clothes. 15, 20 pieces that are interchangeable is really all you need as a man. Yeah. I'm not into like super frivolous style for men. We don't need closets as big as our mothers and all these different fragrance collections and all of this extra stuff. You can keep it pretty basic.
Yeah. So let's say we get another 100, 200 subscribers to the Gentleman's Institution. What do you want these young men to feel when they're working with you? Or do you want them to feel like you're their best friend, you're their mentor, you're their coach? How do you want them to come away from that experience?
I want them to feel like they're part of something that's bigger than themselves, but they are a very valuable part of. Right, and the way that you be a valuable part of it is just by being involved, by connecting with other people. If you invite another member out for a drink, that's it. If you join on a group call, you don't have to say something like amazingly valuable or insightful. What we do is we just share our experiences.
Yeah.
So for me, how would I describe my role in it? I suppose it's kind of like the maitre d' at a restaurant. Like he might not always be at the table with you talking, but I've helped curate this.
Yeah.
So that's probably the way that I like to think of the dynamic within the group. I mean, I'm in there every single day.
Yeah.
Replying to, if you message me on Instagram, like my messages are pretty busy. Like I probably won't reply. Give me a message. If you join that, give me a message. I'll always reply within a couple of days.
Yeah.
I'm always replying to the comments, encouraging people, creating courses that respond to the feedback of what people want, doing topics on our calls about what people want. So I make it for the people that are in there.
Yeah, absolutely. So 20 years from now, when Gentleman's Institution has blown up and taken this country by storm, what do you want people to say in this city when they hear James Lawley?
Oh, man.
What's your legacy in this city?
In this city? Well, I would like to be the person that brings young men together, allows them to express themselves in a more classic way, whether that's with their style, with their behavior, with their character, and the person that facilitated great memories for people. We've already had probably 4 or 5 great events in Chicago. We've got another one coming up at the end of October. If these things are still happening, whether I'm in Chicago or not, that would be the legacy that I would want. Yeah.
I love that. So let's get into a couple fun topics before we wrap. Okay. You and I are both connoisseurs of the Leaf cigars. Do you have a favorite lounge in Chicago?
Yeah, Biggs.
Biggs, for sure?
Biggs.
Yeah. What, have you been to the other ones and you just weren't like vibing with it?
I've been to all of them. Biggs are like great at collaborating with me, whether it's filming content there, hosting an event there. I know the people that work there very well.
Yeah.
I also love the vibe. I mean,
it does fit your aesthetic very to a T.
Yeah, every lounge has its own thing. The Clayton is more modern, right? You go in there, it's like James Bond's villain lair with all these levels and elevators that don't make sense. So that's cool, but yeah, Biggs just feels more like home to me. It's very relaxing in there as well. It is. It's so peaceful in there. All of them have great selections, you know, when it comes to cigars. So that's not a big differentiator. I've actually not been to Yvonne Reese.
I'll have to have you over there for
I know.
one of the Scorpion Nest events.
Yeah, that'll be cool.
It's got an old school vibe. The community is very tight knit, and it's got a decent amount of floor space in the lounge compared to maybe some of the smaller lounges out in the city. But if you're a working professional downtown in the Loop or in town for a conference or something, it's a really great place to just pull up a chair, have a stick, relax, watch football.
What's the setup there? Is it membership or is it just public? Or
it is membership. Yeah. It's so the retail store is open banker's hours about till 5:30 every day, and then 5:30 to 10 on the weekdays, and then 5:30 to midnight on the weekends. And I believe the membership is somewhere around $1,000 a year, and then a locker is an extra $300.
Okay, that's one of the more affordable lounges.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they got a poker room that we do a lot of poker games in. We do a lot of cigar and bourbon tastings in the bar room, and then they've got projector room and different areas where you can go to have different conversations.
That's cool. I would like to see, and this isn't just Chicago, this is everywhere. The cigar world can seem very, very intimidating.
Yeah.
Right? And it doesn't help that it's fine that places are expensive and they provide that, but it would be cool to have more kind of mid-priced membership options, because I believe that guys need to get together more often.
Yeah.
But if it's always going to be, you know, 5, 10, 15 grand a year to be a member of a lounge, then it prices out pretty much most men under 35. Right. So it's cool that that's, you know, $1,000 a year if you like cigars. That's a pretty good deal.
It is.
I always try and bring my friends together around cigars. Like I can, you know, have them as guests at Biggs, or it's getting harder and harder to smoke in public these days.
Yeah, unfortunately. I mean, I get the health concerns, but, you know, as you talk on your content, cigars are such a great way to slow down, relax. Someone said once about cigars, it's a way for us to buy time. So you take a cigar, right? It might take you 60 minutes to smoke.
Yeah.
Every single cigar I have is an hour with somebody that I care deeply about, or I'm just meeting for the first time, and we get to share an hour of this life together. And you know that time is a finite resource on this planet. So when someone's sharing a cigar with me, they're sharing something very valuable.
Yeah.
Not just not inhaling, but, you know, consuming
it's not just the physical
smoke.
It's not the physical act.
It's a lot more than just looking pretentious and smoking on a big stogie. It's something deeper,
which is what I get accused of.
I also like Up Down.
Okay, I know
they don't charge a membership, but they throw great events. Very friendly community. That's a great place to just walk in, have a stick, meet some new folks. And
cigars, just as in general, when it comes to community, great thing.
My God.
Thing. I would always, any new city, you know, look up cigar lounges. Where can you go have a smoke? New York has great ones.
Yeah.
I really like that. For me, it's obviously I enjoy the flavors, and I enjoy the experience, and I'm pretty new. I've been smoking cigars a year, so I don't know a whole lot. My palate isn't as refined as many other people who smoke, but I love the experience. I also like smoking by myself a lot. I like that reflection process. I smoke cigars up on my balcony. I'll smoke cigars in my apartment. Hopefully my leasing office.
Do you have a favorite brand?
I got a few. Definitely favorite sticks. My Father is one of my favorite brands, The Judge.
Yeah.
That was Cigar Aficionado Cigar of the Year last year. And I think it's like $13, $14.
Very accessible.
So that's one big myth about cigars that I believed for a long time, is that it's a really expensive hobby. It's only for big fat rich dudes.
Yeah.
You know, bankers who are smoking and drinking brandy and laughing at poor people.
Yeah.
Not the reality.
No.
At all. Not the reality. Especially as a new smoker. Like, I made the mistake when I first started smoking cigars of always buying the Davidoff, always buying the Cohiba.
Yeah.
And they're great.
Sure.
But especially as you're developing your palate, you don't need to spend $30, $40, $50 on a cigar. So, yeah, my father is a great one. La Palina, Ren got me into that brand. Actually,
oh, yeah, the Goldies. So, he loves those.
Yeah. No, I'm definitely, as I'm discovering more of my own taste, actually like a Connecticut shade.
Yeah.
Most of the time, more than a darker, more Maduro cigar.
I wanted to come back to the cigar culture real quick.
Yeah.
Because now more than ever, we need places to have discourse without getting so polarized.
Yeah.
And I've had some of the greatest conversations with people on both sides of the aisle on whatever topic we're talking about, not just politics, but you can talk about almost anything under the sun in a cigar lounge with someone that has differing viewpoints and still have a great time.
Yeah, it never gets confrontational, never gets heated. I feel like cigars are a big replacement for alcohol as well, for me at least, socially. I went 6 months without drinking from November till April.
Yeah.
So during that time, I was, instead of just let's go to the bar, I had to think of something else.
Yeah.
And cigars became that for me. A lot of my friends drink very little or don't drink at all. So, I mean, when you don't drink alcohol as well, you're better at having intellectual conversations.
For sure.
Don't descend into arguments. And you don't get hungover the next day.
A lot of benefits.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of benefits for me, at least, of smoking a cigar versus drinking. Now, a lot of people like to have a brandy or a scotch with their cigar, and I do too. But I think when it comes back to what you said about buying that time, in order to have a very similar experience with alcohol, I think you need to have like a really great whiskey. You need to have a really great bottle of wine.
Something that you're going to savor. And
yeah. For me, that it's never been like, let's crack open a Miller Lite and enjoy this 30 minutes together.
Yeah.
I don't know. It doesn't have the same kind of sway.
No, it doesn't. Aside from cigar lounges and shooting your content and doing communities, when you're just having a day to yourself, do you have any favorite restaurants or establishments you like to visit in the city?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, favorite spots just in general. The Riverwalk, I will be there pretty much every day. At some point, I really like to do that. When it comes to restaurants, when it's the summertime, I love Bellevue or Tavern, so you can sit outside around, is it Mariano Square, where the fountain is? I just call it the Triangle. Right? Everybody just calls it the Triangle.
Yeah, everyone just calls it that.
I love being there because it's such a beautiful people-watching spot. You've got the fountain. It's so tranquil. You see all walks of life there. You see the old guys getting out their McLarens. You see the young people. You see the new couples. You see babies. You see old women.
Yeah.
It's just a beautiful picture.
It is.
Of modern life. So I like that place a lot. And then when it comes to food specifically, I tend to go for steak a lot of the time. Yeah. Smith Wollensky on the river
that place.
Is probably my favorite. Just if you get one of those tables where you're literally on the river, it's just incredible.
I've had the privilege of taking a few friends to that spot, and so when you get that river view, it's just unmatched.
Yeah, it's great. In terms of other restaurants, Tredita in the St. Regis, really like that place. Chicago has a lot of good Italians, right?
Sure.
And we've got quite a spectrum. Like you can go to La Scarola, and it's like being in Nonna's house.
Yeah.
It's very cozy and intimate, and the portions are absolutely massiher.
Absolutely massive.
Yeah. Or you can go somewhere like Portofino, Adelina, another great place. Other restaurants, Le Colonial, I was just there today. Actually, with my first ever date in Chicago, I went to Le Colonial.
Really?
Yeah. And went there again today for the first time since then. Reminded me how much this is a great place, actually.
Yeah.
Beautiful restaurant.
Yeah, hope we get to share a meal there one time soon. I have a really favorite memory being downtown. When I lived in the Loop, I used to have this routine where on Sundays I would go get a donut from the Donut Vault, and then I would go get a cup of coffee from Cafe Umbria.
Oh, yeah.
And then I would circle back to the Riverwalk and sit on the stairs, and I would just have my peace and quiet, my time to reflect. watch all the dogs being walked up and down the river. And that's one thing I miss about living in downtown is that neat little routine I had. Because a cup of coffee on a Sunday morning on the Riverwalk, get out of here.
Yeah. No, I do that every single... I either walk to West Loop to go to the gym there, or I'll walk along the Riverwalk, pretty much without fail. Yeah, and it's my favorite time, honestly. Like, when I look back at what was the highlight of my day, it's normally 6:45 a.m. on the Riverwalk.
Yeah. It's they put in a lot of investment into that Riverwalk, and I think it's paid off tremendously.
It blew my mind when I found out that wasn't always there.
Yeah.
Because to me, I can barely imagine that area without it. It seems so obvious.
Right.
Like, why would you not?
Yeah. A city this great needs a Riverwalk just as great.
I hope they expand it more as well. It would be great to do the north side as well. You could probably expand it more along what's the bit where you're going, and it will be West Loop on your right with Ogilvy and the Opera House on the left. They could definitely... I'm not the mayor, but I think it's the coolest thing.
Yeah,
so
definitely opportunity because it is probably one of the best features we have.
I think so, yeah.
So 2 questions before we wrap. Who would you like to see as a future guest on the Scorpion S podcast?
I'm glad you asked me. I got his permission to recommend as a guest. Ulysses from Big's Mansion.
Oh,
he also works at Chicago Cut. Been in the cigar scene and just like the social scene of Chicago for donkey's years.
Yeah.
So, and I did an episode with him where we did a 45-minute tour of Big's Mansion, beginner's guide to cigars.
Oh, cool.
And he was great.
Yeah.
So definitely, Ulysses. Yeah, I'll give you his details.
Yeah, is that video part of your institution if people want to watch that? Or
that's just on YouTube, yeah. Okay. Gent Z. It's like a 45-minute video, how to smoke a cigar or something like that.
Awesome. Yeah, we'll link it in the show notes.
Thank you.
And for those that want to either join your community or just follow your content, where can they find you?
Yeah, pretty much everything is under the name Gent Z. So like Gen Z, but gentleman, Gent Z. Or just my name, James Lawley. You'll find me on Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all of those. And then if you're interested in joining the community so you can be around like-minded men, meet up in person. It's not just Chicago.
Yeah.
Like Chicago is a strong city for us, but we've got it all over the world. That's just gent-z.com. And yeah, it's just $1 if you want to give it a try and see what it's like.
Wonderful. Well, James, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much, Thomas.
This is the first of many conversations we have, and I'm sure we'll share a cigar pretty soon.
Yeah, I wish we could have smoked one during this. It would have been great.
Episode 2.
My only complaints.
Thanks for coming on the show.
No worries. Thank you very much.